Hello, hello, and welcome everyone to this month's LinkedIn Lovin Live, where we are shining a light on the world's leading B2B social media platform, that is LinkedIn. And I'm delighted today to be joined by branding expert and author Claire Froggatt, who is going to help us explore and explain how we can build a clearer, stronger, and more consistent brand on LinkedIn. So I know that whenever the subject of how to generate leads comes up, LinkedIn is always mentioned. It's become a major touch point in what people see and what people know about us, and it's helping us to build that all-important know, like, and trust that we all need if anybody's going to buy from us. So that means that every time somebody visits your LinkedIn profile, they read a post, they see your company page, or they get a message from you from LinkedIn, they are forming an impression of who you are, what you do, and whether they want to work with you. And of course, that needs to feel consistent and it needs to feel like you, which is why I'm delighted Claire is joining me today to talk about how we can build a brand that feels like you. So Claire, welcome. Thank you for joining me. It's lovely to have you here.
Thank you. It's very nice to be here, and hello everyone else.
Fantastic. So I just like to say, just before we start, if you're new to these Lovins and you're wondering what the heck they are short, bite-sized LinkedIn learnings over lunch. So grab your cuppa and your sarnie and sit back and enjoy. And every month I'm joined by a guest expert to share their expertise on subjects to help you support your LinkedIn activity and results. And I do like to make these Lovins as interactive as possible. So any questions you have, please put them in the comments box on the event page, and I will pass them, display them, and get Claire to answer them during the live. So just a quick one before we start. I want to understand from you guys, what do you think of your LinkedIn activity? Is it creating the right impression, do you think? Let me know in the comments box what you think to that. So enough of me waffling, let's get started. Let me quiz Claire now. Claire, branding. You know, it's a bit of a word that's bandied around, isn't it? Quite a lot. You know, what's your brand? You need a brand, you need this, you need that. And, you know, what actually is it and why do we need it? What's important?
Well, your brand is everything about you and your business or your product, whatever. It can be various different presentations, but normally in the business world, or if you work B2B or B2C, you have an identity for your business, but you also have one for yourself. So particularly if you're a founder-led business, so you make a sole trader, for example, or you've got a few staff, that is led by the founder. You started the business, you're leading it. So normally a lot of your brand personality and your natural personality comes through in the business. That's why I relate to it as it's building a brand that feels like you, because it's important that that carries through. And when you involve your personality and yourself in your brand, it's what can help you differentiate in a marketplace when people wanting to buy a service and there's two people there that do the same thing, the same price, and they're both going to serve the same people. It's how you choose between them, what's different.
So it's all about you and your personality and not just having a nice flashy logo.
Yeah, it's a combination of the two. Your branding is your logo when it's application. So, for example, your LinkedIn banner, or how you create post graphics if you're not using photos of yourself. That's branding, it's application. The brand overall is everything that encompasses it, your values, the strategy, the bit you don't see, as well as the logo and the visuals and the things you do see. It can be the way you make people feel. It can be the way that things smell, sound, taste, touch. All of that are different elements that can be involved and encompassed in a brand.
Right. Okay. Yes, there's a lot going on there. And if a business jumps in just straight to those visual elements, what happens? Is there likely to be a disconnect?
Usually there is, and I've done a few of my LinkedIn posts this week have been about that topic because it's something I come across a lot.
Yes.
A lot of businesses that don't know anything about brand, or they're just trying to get up and running. They're really talented and great at what they do in their job, be it finance, accounting, or joinery, or any type of business. Really good at what you do, but you've got all these other things to set up when you're doing a business, and they go straight in for a logo. They might go to Canva or ChatGPT or somewhere like that and create something really quickly. And whilst that does give you something, it's not something I recommend. There's various other reasons beyond that, but I can ask if you want to know in the chats. I can help you, or I can have a conversation after why it's not a good idea to use an AI created logo. But if you look at the visuals, it's a bit like having a boat with no anchor. You're just out there and you're floating around, and it's wherever the tide takes you and what can be. It's got no purpose, it's got no reasoning, it's got no thinking, it's got nothing that underpins it and grounds it. And brands and businesses that do have that are the ones that are usually leading, or the ones that can come up with content easier, or you see the things more consistent because they're not scattered about and going all over the place because it's whatever's on trend or what somebody else has done or something they've seen. It's a lot more streamlined, it's a lot easier to manage, and it's a lot easier for customers to recognize and understand and connect with, which is the most important thing.
Do you know what? I love that. I mean, and that's the key, isn't it? It's our brand, but actually it's not really for us, it's for our clients as well to understand us, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and also for us to make it easier to communicate what we do and for them to understand us.
Yes.
I love that. It's funny because when you said about AI, I didn't use AI for my branding, by the way, but I remember when I first started out as a LinkedIn lady, I went and just got a logo. Oh, I like these colors. So I'm going to use my name. And that's all I did. And I was very lucky because somebody said, oh, you're that LinkedIn lady, aren't you? And that's just kind of stuck ever since. So, yeah, it's interesting. I totally get how you just didn't really put any thought into it whatsoever. But one of the things that I really want to kind of understand, because it's like, how do you talk a lot about building a brand that feels like you.
Yes.
And I always remember you saying to me that if you get bored of your brand, it means that's a good thing. And I just want to explore
that. Because usually entrepreneurs are quite creative. We have lots of ideas and we want to do different things, so we can get bored with things quite quickly. Now, in terms of your brand identity, logos and things like that, the longer you have the same thing, as long as it fits, but that's why the underpinning is important, and you use it consistently and use it all the time, you will get bored of it because you want to change it and you want to develop it and you want to move it on. But your customers recognize that. And the example I always give is McDonald's. Love them or hate them, McDonald's golden arches, everybody knows what they are. They recognize them. Why? They haven't changed since 1952.
Wow.
McDonald's packaging has changed. Their products have changed. Their campaigns around those products have developed. But their identity that is overarching like an umbrella hasn't changed. And that's where I like to work with clients or develop brands and grow them, so that it does give you the creative license to do things differently and change things and bring other colours in, as long as they're going to fit and match the styling, and that's where it grows and gets bigger. But from the outset, if you've got, even if you don't have a budget, this is why a lot of people go to AI, pick a font like Google font, for example. It's called Google Sans. It's available free. Type your business name or your name like you use, Judy. It works for you because you are that person, and you've built your brand around you rather than building you into the brand. And then just pick a colour or two and use it consistently. Use it until you've got the budget to work with somebody that can help you create something that's a bit more tailor-made to you and what you're doing and brings you into it. Don't go to AI. And that's the tip I give, because not everybody has a budget to start off with. It's not everybody's priority to start off with, because you've got accounting, you've got operations, you've got customers, suppliers, systems to set up. There's so many plates to spin when you're running a business, and when you start off, it can be totally overwhelming. But brand is so important in this day and age because it's what differentiates you in the marketplace. But there's different ways of getting there and building one without the expense, if you just do a few things consistently in the right order and just keep doing them.
So there's a couple of things that I really love that you said, and I think the big one there is consistently. That's the key, isn't it? You know, don't go, I'm going to use this font and this color this week, and then go, oh, I don't like that, and I'm going to do something else. It's that consistency, isn't it? Because that's, you've got to show up, and people have to understand why you, so that, and how you differentiate from competitors, anybody else. Because, you know, I'm one of many LinkedIn trainers now. You know, when I first started and somebody said I was in the LinkedIn lady, there wasn't that many female LinkedIn trainers. Now everybody's a LinkedIn expert and stuff. So it's how do you stand out, and branding that feels like you, I'm guessing, is the only way to do it.
Yeah, it's showing up consistently, and the more of you can integrate and weave into your brand, that helps you different, because we're all different people. We've all got different personalities. We don't think the same. No matter if you do the same type of job, we're going to do it in a different way. We serve different people and different customers. But you've got to, like, if you bring out your values into what you do, it can help you get the right clients attracted to you. It can help you build the right team. It can help you have connections with the right suppliers. And that's an invisible brand asset. But our values are intrinsic of us, the way that we feel about certain things, like loyalty or unfairness. Might, if you're watching the telly, you're going to have a reaction to something, or if somebody knocks an old lady over or something, you're going to have a reaction of a certain way, and those are our values. And it's how you pull those out and identify them, not just go out, our values are quality and excellence and great. Well, what do they mean?
Yeah.
Rolex as a brand, for example, I use that. Anybody knows Rolex is a quality brand of watches. You never see the word quality anywhere near their website, their content, their whatever. If something is quality, it just is. But it's the rest of the thing around it, and what they do and how they act and how they behave and how they write and what they present, that presents quality.
That is such a good example. I love that. Yeah, I've never seen, you know, anybody who's going, it's quality. It's all like that. But also, isn't there Stella? Was it Stella who did that? Said probably the best or the most expensive. There are some plays on that where you have opposite psychology, isn't there?
Yeah, you can play with it. It's Carlsberg, I think, probably the best.
Oh, Carlsberg, yes. Well, it shows you how well that brand worked then, because I couldn't remember what brand.
If you're a lager beer drinker, you're not really going to touch Carlsberg. It's one of the ones that I would not thank you for giving me. But that's where everybody's tastes are different. We all like different things. And yes, they've been a bit cheeky in theirs. They're saying it's probably the best lager in the world. Because it's to say this is the best lager in the world, because you've got millions of people out there that drink that type of drink, would argue against that.
Yeah. Well, yes. So I suppose it's about being clever, and so not boxing yourself in too much, understanding your values, not boxing yourself in too much, but still having that consistency. So when you talk about consistency, let's just focus back on that. Where we are talking about consistency across the board. So I think for me, it's how you talk as well, isn't it? And how you present yourself. How do you know that you are appearing as consistent to somebody? Because, you know, how would I know when somebody comes to my profile and they kind of see that, am I being consistent? Is the way that I'm talking? Because often I don't think about how I write stuff and how I present myself. So it's unconscious. I think that's what I'm kind of saying.
I think generally if you're putting content out, it's purposeful unconsciously, because most of your content is around LinkedIn, its use of and whys and what fors. So you're automatically doing a subject because it's what you teach and it's what you're all about. And the fact it's unconscious, you're actually being natural. You're writing in a way that you would write a letter to a friend, or you're writing how you would speak if I meet you at an event. And I know that because I've seen you in person, I've met you at events, I've known you for quite some time, and I've seen and read your LinkedIn posts. I've received emails from you, and they're in the same tone and language. Now, sometimes in a business that's not so directly connected like yours is, people try to make the business sound something different. And if you ever try to be somebody else, it's bloody hard work. Because you have to try so hard. So the thing is, it's about finding that clarity in understanding who you are and how that impacts the business, then makes it easier, because you're just being yourself. You
Yeah.
can get copywriters and you can get people and you can write something and throw it through AI to get an opinion on it and things like that. But don't get AI to write your content, because as much as you can teach them to think like you and write like you and use your language, it's never going to be like you. And you've got to think anything you write down has got to be how you would speak to somebody when they met you.
Yeah.
Because if it's not, that's where there's an incongruence, and it might not be obvious, but in the back of the mind there'll be something doesn't sit right there, and there's all these little tiny percentages that build friction and eventually cause mistrust.
I love that, because that brings me onto something, because when it comes to, I know obviously your brand goes across everything.
Mm-hmm.
We're focusing just on LinkedIn because it is such a major touch point for businesses and stuff. But I know, and a lot of people say that, you know, when somebody comes to your LinkedIn profile, you literally have seconds to grab somebody's attention and make an impression. So you've got to make sure you're making the right impression when that happens. So, and I'm guessing what you've just said there, if somebody comes to your profile, and there is that kind of inconsistency, they're going to go have some element of doubt in there. What is somebody looking at, do you think, when they come to a profile? What are they going to be deciding in those first 4 seconds? Because it's like that, isn't it? What do you do? What do you do?
a lot of time these days, certainly in our world, we do in-person networking or in-person events. And often we don't swap business cards anymore. You go on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So you make a connection on LinkedIn. And that's really important then, that the person that they have met in person looks like that on LinkedIn. So for mine, I have got particular style glasses, which I'm going to take off now because I don't wear them when I'm looking at the computer, but they are.
Is it the same person? Is it?
People think it is, but if you see me in person, I've generally got my glasses on, and people always comment it. So I know that's now become a part of my brand. But yeah, if I'm doing my videos or doing my content, I wouldn't be wearing them because I don't wear them when I'm working on computer. So it's really important that then, but if you think about it the other way around, if somebody's connected to you on LinkedIn and they've seen a picture of you or an image of you, that then if they did meet you in person, it's the same thing. All right, it might not have a bright pink background like mine has, but it is me. I don't put filters on anything. I try and use my face a lot because people see what they see. I mean, when we were in that horrible period of lockdown and everybody looked like they were one of the Muppets because we're all in a rectangle box, and then you meet somebody in person, oh my God, you're tall, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, no, am I? But they've seen you on a video call, so they've made an impression there. And LinkedIn, you've got a couple of seconds and it's generally in an image, so it doesn't move and it's not your voice, but you can put videos on there in the highlighted elements of, and it's something I still need to do. And I think you can have sliding banners at the top, so you could try and tell a message or things like that. So the platform and the technology is developing and giving you more tools to show more of you or your brand or your business. I see a lot of people have a LinkedIn profile where it's got a picture on but no banner at all. I think, well, you're missing an advertising opportunity there, aren't you? Because it could say book a call, or it, like mine says, my strapline, which is I see your brand before you do. Because people go, what do you mean you see my brand before you do? And then it starts a conversation.
Exactly.
And so it can deliver that, and that's on my marketing materials as well. It's on my business cards. It's on a bookmark that I've got. It's on a postcard that I've got. So I use the same messaging as well as the same images on and offline, but they always look like me. I generally try, when I go to an event, I'm going to wear the suit jacket if it's not too hot, or I'm going to wear a pink or a navy blue or something that are my brand colours, but I don't always do that. Like today, I'm working from home today, trying to stay cool. It's just one of my plainer t-shirts, but you've still got the styled hair, which is a funky mess because I'm useless at doing my hair, but it looks like that. It's looking a bit blue at the minute because the purple's faded out, and there's little things that are there all the time. And I think the more consistent you can be, like, don't try and choose, I'm going to choose my best picture, I'm going to choose a picture from my holidays. If you're on LinkedIn, it's kind of like, would you go to a meeting in your bikini like you are on your holidays, or like you dress for a night out on the town? If
Exactly.
the answer's no, don't use that as your LinkedIn profile picture. If the answer's yes, do it.
Yeah.
And
100%.
then the headline, and you actually helped me a few weeks ago with refining mine, because it's about getting enough detail in. But when you comment or interact with other people's posts and their audience are then seeing you, you've got to have something that's going to quick go, oh, that person's interesting, and then they want to go and find out and click and follow through.
100%. And do you know what? There was some really fantastic advice in there, because absolutely, that's your header banner, first thing people see, and that's what they'll be looking at, your header banner, your photo, your name, to decide whether they're going to stay on your profile or they're just going to go and have a look at somebody else's. Absolutely fantastic. So what I'd like to do now, if anybody's got a question for Claire, by the way, please do pop it in the comments box. We do want to sort of, quiz Claire as much as possible. So please let's have your questions come through for her. But what I want to sort of get onto now is some practical tips for people, if we can. Because, I think it's very hard looking at your own stuff.
Absolutely.
And if somebody is there wanting to build the brand, how do they basically go about it? How do they start? Where would they start from, especially to make sure it's consistent?
I always start with an audit. So it's kind of like emptying your freezer. Get everything out, see what you've got, figure out what needs to stay, what needs using, or what needs to get gone. So obviously, in terms of LinkedIn or your brand, let's say your digital audit. So what do you use digitally? Have you got a website? Right. Have you got an email? So the email, does it have a signature on it? Does it have the logo on, or does it not? Website, is it the same colours as it is on your email signature? So do those two match? It's like playing Snap. And then look at your social profiles of which ones you use. Now, I have a profile on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I don't use YouTube very often. It's probably way out of date. In fact, I think it is. It's more because I rebranded myself last year. So I need to give that some serious attention. But what I teach is concentrate on the one thing that's where your primary audience is. Don't worry about the rest. So I'm not. I do LinkedIn primarily. I do Facebook, and I've started doing more of my business Facebook on my personal feed, because funnily enough, one of my friends went, oh, we're doing something at work and we need your help. Great. You don't know where the leads are going to come from. Try not to do it too often. And then Instagram I've got, but I don't really use it quite often. I, in fact, have to remind myself to go into it to get messages and things like that. But on every single one of those, it's the same profile picture of me. Or if it's a business page, like my business LinkedIn page and my business Facebook page, it's my Cups logo. So that sits in that format better. I've not tried to use the long one that does get us a crop of it. We're looking through a letterbox at it, because that doesn't look good either. So I think doing an audit, looking at what things you use and are you consistent, same colour, same logo, same profile picture, same font, same type of wording if you're going to go deeper. I've got a few blogs on my website that are about brand audits and things like that if you want to get the help for free, and you can look at a blog for nothing. You're not going to get emailed, you're not going to get bothered by me or anything. There are some other resources if you want to download them, then you might get a few emails, but again, you can get what you want and then unsubscribe. I'm there to help.
Wonderful. I think that's a really good thing. I definitely think going and doing an audit.
It's harder to do a physical audit because you might have got business cards, leaflets, pull-up banners, exhibition material. You've got to then get them out and have a look at them. You might have got a shop, you might have got signage, you might have got vehicles, you might have got uniforms, and that's then bigger. So a digital one's the first place to start, and it's one that you can make an instant impact on. Because then you go, which one is the best one, is the one I want it to be, and then make everything else match it.
Yeah. I love that, Claire, because I'm just giggling away to myself because I'm a cheapskate Yorkshire lass, right? And I had to redo my brand. And I've got a banner stand, which I still haven't rebranded because I'm like, oh, It's perfectly fine as it is. It's got my name on, but I really should update that. But we've got a couple of questions coming in for you, Claire. So I'm just conscious of time. So I'm going to just quickly jump on those at the moment. So we've got Catherine here has asked a question about handling a business name change. She's a graphic designer working with schools, and she's rebranding so that her business better reflects what she actually does for schools.
Right.
Have you got any thoughts on that? Is that quite a big thing? Or?
The name change is something that I did myself last year because I felt a little bit out of sorts. I felt like, am I still doing the right thing? Do I still want to do what I'm doing? And the answer is yes. I absolutely love what I do. But I think I'd grown out of my name. So the business was called Make a Brew because I think all good conversations start with a brew, and as in a bucket of tea, or on a Friday night at a certain time, it comes in a pint pot. Again, that's part of my brand story because it's me, and you'll get the same sort of approach from me. But actually, the level of work that I do now, that didn't fit. So I did some work, and I've kept brew in there, but it now says brew your brand. So it says actually what I do. And yes, the first point is still making a brew. So I've shuffled it around like that. So I think, yes, if you're always going to work with schools and that is your particular niche and you love it and you don't think you're really going to go outside of that, I think pupil powered design is a good name if the pupils have some influence on the design work. If they don't, it might be a little bit too niche down. I actually like the create for schools or creative for schools or something like that. Sounds really nice because then the schools part doesn't mean it's just for the pupils, it's the whole school, because I'm imagining there's lots of moving parts in a school. But I think you're on the right sort of tracks, rebranding or positioning the name so it actually does what it says on the tin. I think that's a really good move. Don't put yourself in too small a box. I think the pupils is great. Pupil powered design could be a strap line, so you could use both. Then you could get it in there or like that, or in part of your messaging.
Yeah, I love that. I'm totally into having things that say what you do on the tin. So I was working with someone, and their business is called Two Crows, and they said unless you know Two Crows, you wouldn't know what Two Crows is. And it's almost like having that extra line that just actually then says what it is that you do, just because it just helps people go, oh, and then it helps you associate what you do with the name as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Lloyd's asked a really great question about how often should we do an audit, and I think that's a good point because I actually rebranded it's probably been a good year now, and I might need to do one just to check that everything has been rebranded and I'm not missing anything.
Yeah, I would say normally it's every year, once a year, like you've just said now. You've rebranded recently and you're looking at a pull-up banner that you've not updated yet. You've got something quite big and under your nose, really, that needs to be in line. But when are you next going to need that banner? Have you got an event coming up that you're going to use the banner at? Have you got an exhibition coming up? Because if you haven't, it's a to-do item. It's not a do-it-now item. You can also do it quarterly if you've got a lot of moving parts in the business and your brand is used and presented in lots of different places, or there's lots of different people with their hands on it. Like if you've got a team, the sort of mini audits and checks that it like is the messaging right? If we've changed a campaign, are we now using the right campaign messaging, not the one from the one before? But if it's overarching brand content, then you shouldn't have to worry about it that often. I would possibly go a light touch every 6 months, a full one every year. Like I say, I relate it to defrosting your freezer, because we all know what that is, and you can sit there going, oh my God, I just don't want to get all that out. And it can feel like that for your own business.
Yes.
That's why if you can't be bothered, get somebody else to do it for you. Sometimes an external eye is going to see things that you can't see, because I always say you can't read the label from inside the bottle.
Yeah. And you know what? And I think that's a perfect place for us to actually end this conversation, because when you're in your business, you can't see it. And I just want to mention your book, Claire, which is your branding 3x3. And Claire is selling these and is also supporting Alzheimer's disease, aren't you? Because of your mum and stuff. But this is a great book if anybody actually wants to start getting underneath the bones of their brand. And as Claire says, she's got lots of support that you can access from her website. And I just want to say,
there's a bonus chapter on an audit in the back of it, so it actually tells you how to do one.
Oh, brilliant. Well, there you go. That's an even better reason to buy the book. And
bonus chapter 1, brand audit.
That's what I'll be doing then when we finish this call. I'm going to do my brand audit. I just want to say thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. If you do have any more questions, please do put them in the comments box, and Claire and I will get back to them after this is finished. And if anybody who's watching the replay has any questions, again, please add them to the comments box, and we will get back to that as soon as we can. But in the meantime, that's just left for me to say is a huge thank you to Claire for all your wonderful, wonderful wisdom. I would love to know what everybody got from that. What's the one thing that you're all going to do? I know I'm going to be doing an audit. That's the one thing I'm going to be doing. But if you could let us know what's the one thing you're going to be doing following Claire's wonderful branding expertise, please do let us know. Thank you so much, Claire. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Thanks a lot. Bye, guys.